Hello, everybody. This is Anja Schäfer again, and I welcome my guest, Dr. Raymond Keller. He hasn't been with me on my channel for quite a while, so I'm so happy that we are going into a discussion today. Hey, Ray.
Hello, Anja. Good to be here with you and the audience.
Yes, it's really been a while, right, that we had a conversation. I believe it's probably a year ago in the preparation of your last trip to Germany when you came for the UFO conference and the From Venus with Love conference that we had in 2024. So, for those of you who are new here and who don't know Ray, just a very short overview. As you can see, he's a wise white man. That's what he is inside and outside, from my experience. We got to know each other 4 years ago now, meanwhile, 3.5 years ago. I believe it started in 2021. Ray is very well known for his books on Venus, mostly about Venus. He is the author of the Venus Rising series, but also about he also read more wrote more books, like for example this one here, The Gospels of Thomas and Mary Magdalene, which is published in my own publishing company, but you can get it through Amazon. And there's so much more to say. He's specialized on everything that has to do with Venus, with extraterrestrial contacts, with multidimensionality, ultradimensionality. I don't know all this terminology. Uh, and and also he's also a high initiate. So he is a very intuitive. You are a very intuitive person who has access to higher realms. And this is exactly what we want to dive into today. We want to have a discussion on accessing higher realms, raising our vibration, raising our consciousness. It's about expansion. What else? And we want to also discuss a few things about some specific, very spiritual terms, like, for example, the monad and the souls and the soul groups and the twin souls and wherever our discussion leads us to. So, Ray, I want to give you the word. You may begin. Start, please, and guide us through it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Anja. I really appreciate that. Now, I've been getting a lot of emails about these very same subjects from all over the world. It's very interesting
Mm,
that and it's quite a synchronicity, I think.
mhm.
So that means that we're moving in the right direction because people want to know this stuff. They're very curious about it, and so that's what I take as one of our purposes here is to bring this information out. It's not all that readily available, and quite frankly, it's not presented really clear in a lot of cases. Um, but going back to comparative religions, the study of comparative religions, which is one of the fundamental principles of Theosophy, the Theosophical Society, is to look at these terms and look at these concepts and see if we can kind of unravel the threads.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And also would like to have my audience know why I contacted you on that particular subject. And as you told me, you receive more emails from others. They are coming from different angles, but it's all mostly about something very similar, right? It's about higher realms, understanding soul cosmology. And what happened in my case is that I saw, because I'm also a researcher, I'm also interested in various things. I've experienced quite a lot, but I don't understand everything. So I'm curious in expanding my own awareness. And this is why I'm so grateful that I know you personally, because with whom can I talk on that level about that kind of stuff, this kind of information? And so I was really guided to watch a video that is from a lady. Her name is Alex. Of course, I will link the video. And in that video, she's explaining the monad and the soul groups and the soul matrix and the personal matrix. I believe these are the terms that she's using. And I would like to start our discussion basically now with that chart that she has been sharing, because Ray was so kind to even watch that video. I asked him, "Hey Ray, could you please look into that? I really want to know what she's talking about, and maybe she will explain it to me in an interview one day personally. I hope so. I'm trying to get her on my channel so that she can explain it. But there's nothing wrong with looking at it together with you, because I think it could be just interesting to start there. So I would like to show you. Oh, I can also show it here because I drew it and I'm going to show it. So this is really seriously from that Alex, but I think there's too much glare on it. No, I think you can pretty much see it.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's
But
very clear.
it's I took a photo of it, so it's better if I really share that screen with you, but then you can see it much better and we can talk about it. At least we start our discussion with that, because I know we have lots of more aspects to go into. So this is pretty much exactly what Alex is discussing in her video. And she's, for example, saying that the monad, I mean, is it the same? Is the monad, would you say, can you try to explain that? So I believe
Oh,
D7, D8, D9 is the
sure.
dimensions.
Yes. She has this broken down in dimensional levels. So you have the first through the third dimension
Yeah.
uh, on the lower side of the chart. And then in the middle, you have the fourth and fifth and sixth dimensions, um, which would be, uh, uh, that would be time, and then uh, outside time and space, and then into the astral realm, and then above it, then you have the monadic planes. So these are the higher dimensions. So she has it marked D7
Yeah.
through D9.
So I would like to, before we discuss this chart, I would really like to say this is highly respected what Alex is sharing. We are not saying this is wrong or this is right. We are just talking about it. So because everybody has to find discernment and find out whether it resonates with them or not, because this we are talking about higher realms, right? We are talking about higher levels of consciousness that are beyond the brain and that are beyond the thinking. So you can only go into that realm and find out information on a soul level, on a very high soul level. It's nothing that is limited to the brain and to words that we can share. We use that now as a background, I would say. So what I would like to ask you, Ray, is when we start with the monad, for example, is how would you define monad? What is the monad?
Well, the monad is a singularity. It's a place where enlightened beings and the oversouls dwell.
What
Now,
is the oversoul?
the oversoul is some might call it like a guardian angel or a spirit guide, but it's the source. the source of enlightenment for each individual. We're all tied into source. And and here on the physical plane, we exist as aspects or manifestations of the oversoul. And so as we progress through each incarnation, hopefully we're getting closer to the oversoul to the point where we'll be able to integrate with our oversoul, and then from there, not only gain a greater understanding, but move ourselves into a higher vibration, a higher frequency, and then we'll be able to access some of the powers that are latent within us, as Helena Blavatsky talked about.
Yes.
So this is very important because those of us who are interested in metaphysical subjects and paranormal phenomena, I think that's an indication that we are in our last or very close to our last incarnation on the physical plane. So we'll have access from time to time to explore the higher realms because our our consciousness isn't locked into this matrix, this way of thinking of things. We can think outside the box, and we're open to possibilities. Um, we're open to experiencing a metaphysical, paranormal phenomena. That's why John Keel and others, paranormal researchers, have said that all this phenomena, UFOs, ghosts, angels, all this activity are manifestations coming to us uh, from the same source. It's coming from higher dimensions, and and some would say that when we can break with this matrix, that we'll be able to more frequently experience this kind of paraphysical phenomena. And this is important because if we can get into this singularity, this source field, this higher field of consciousness, higher vibrations that's on the monadic plane. And according to the Hindus, there's five worlds that exist on the monadic plane and also in multiple um, dimensions. And then the even in the Bible it talks about it because it talks about the physical plane, the physical body in First Corinthians chapter 15 in the Bible, and then the difference between physical beings and celestial beings, of beings that exist in the higher planes, higher octaves, higher frequencies, spirit bodies. So if we can get our consciousness there, then we will meet other beings that are also here in the physical plane as aspects, but we can come together and meet fellow travelers through through these realms on the monadic plane.
The other diagram that is behind me, we have already talked about that in our first videos about accessing higher realms, and
Oh yes, and I
I'm
like
going,
that. I
you like
like it,
that.
the concentric circles, and it's a very positive and affirming diagram because the um, uh, the God worlds or the angelic realms that are in the center um, is it shows how we're working toward the source. We're working from the outer to the inner, just
Yes,
like
but
our
also the other way around. I
oh
mean,
yes, and the other way around, right?
Omnic
So it,
always explained, she always said that God, and this is what I would like what I would like to hear your take on that, because she also Omnigonic is a Venusian, and she's a spiritual teacher. And this is basically what this is based upon, her teachings. So this illustration, this mandala was drawn by Iris Merlino. She's a German artist. And these little images is something that I added according to Omnic's explanation of the different dimensions. So she says, so this is based, it's not really her teaching, but it's a universal teaching that she was guided to also share with the people on earth, of course, so that we jump on that train of accessing higher realms and finding our way back, as you just said, Ray, because we are all here in the physical. This is symbolized here by this green ring. The green ring, the outer rim, the outer edge ring, is supposed to be the physical dimension. um, I don't know if the physical dimension then would mean D1, D3, D2, D3, if that is the same, symbolizing the same, but I don't want to confuse the different perspectives on of looking at that too much. So because the physical is something that we know, this is the sphere that our physical bodies reside in. This is the molecular structure, the physical universe. This is the outer, and as we can see, it is quite far away, so to say, from the inner realm, which is the white circle. And Omnek always said that this is God, so the white is God, and the yellow circle means the soul dimension. So she said that God, or source of creation, creates souls in groups. Basically, she never really talked about monads, maybe not because it is too high and it's too difficult to understand for us. But would you say that this is basically what we are talking about, that God is creating monads and that the monads contain, or is a monad practically a group of souls that are then start their journey through the levels of dimension from this divine plane, from the soul plane, then going through the lower dimensions until they reach the physical, and then they travel back into source consciousness or singularity. Is that, would you
Oh
comment on
yes.
that?
Yes, I would say that uh, the monadic plane is a sphere of existence where you find the God worlds or angelic worlds. You find uh, the source of all being there, and that's why in Theosophy it's called the singularity or the unity. And so that's very important concept. In um, Helena Blavatsky talks about it. Alice K. Bailey and Rudolf Steiner, they are aware of this kind of thing in the writings of Theosophy. So we can call it higher dimensions uh, i- if we want, because it's a more exalted uh, plane of existence.
Hmm. Many people might ask the question, so what's the use of studying that?
Well, it's important because this is our ultimate aim to return there, and then you have beings, ascended masters, avatars, and so forth, coming to the earth uh, from these higher dimensions to bring us the teachings and knowledge to help us get back there.
Okay, so but we don't want to escape. I mean, there's a reason why we are here, right? There's a reason why we are in the physical, why we are on Earth.
Oh yes, and
So,
this is exactly what you were talking about, and with the soul groupings. These are schools.
mhm.
We're all with a group that's ascending together, and we may not recognize ourselves. Sometimes we will, and as aspects of an oversoul that exists on the monadic plane. When we're integrated with our oversoul, then we'll easily recognize uh, fellow soul travelers through this space-time continuum. We'll be able to recognize them when our vibration is raised high enough in our consciousness that we can integrate with our oversoul on that monadic plane.
And it's all within us, right? It's nothing that's somewhere outside of us. It's all within us, isn't it?
That's the key to it. That's the door to it.
So going within is the key, not going somewhere else.
Because well, the physical universe, it literally has no ends. It says in the Gnostic Gospels, for example, that that even Jesus couldn't see the end of it. It was so, and the angels, he couldn't see the end. It was so vast. Um,
The physical universe?
the physical universe, right? But the you to go within and go to the source, it's outside of space and time as we understand it. It's a spiritual realm. Some people call it the God world, some people call it heaven, uh, Valhalla. They have different names for it, but
It's the heavenly kingdom that Jesus Christ was talking about,
right,
isn't it?
right. That's what it is. And so we're here on this planet, but we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. These bodies that we have, these are spacesuits, so we could operate in this physical realm, in this physical universe. And where we're going afterwards, we don't need to worry about bringing a spacesuit along because, as I was pointing out in the Bible, it talks about spiritual bodies and physical bodies and the difference between them. And so a spiritual body is imperishable. It's eternal, and this one is just some clothes that we wear while we're here on Earth.
Well, and now how do you know all that? I mean, if you now really listen to you, if we listen to you and you are a researcher and you feel like, yes, mom, it's interesting, that sounds great, but how do I really know that? I want to get out of my mind. I don't want it to be just a theory forever. How do you make an experience of that soul body or of that what we are talking about?
Well, there are many schools that you could study, many teachings to learn and experience these things and gain the knowledge to access these realms. But it came to me through a near-death experience.
Yeah.
So I took a shortcut, but I know all these things are real because I experienced it.
Do you believe that, for example, in your case, I mean, obviously you were ready to have this particular experience. You were, for some reason, it was in your soul's plan in this lifetime to have this near-death experience and to realize yourself as your oversoul and integrate. That was what you experienced when you had the heart surgery.
Yeah.
And so obviously not everybody is going through an experience like that. So you had it, and when you returned, you since then you know all that. And obviously, would you agree on that that since then you are able to also share it on a deeper level with others and maybe even initiate it so that others have it as well. But on the other hand, you don't have it if you have not signed up for that experience as a soul for this lifetime. Or how is it working? When do you have this experience and when don't you?
Okay, as I had mentioned before, you can obtain enlightenment or become illuminated, become illumined, lumify yourself, like the commercial. You could do that. You could do this through study and practice, and there's many different disciplines. I was answering some questions from that one of the emails. They were asking me about the MERKABA, the yoga. So you have different kinds of yogic techniques. You have different kinds of meditation, mindful meditation. You have reflection. Um, you have prayer. You have pilgrimages to sacred sites. There's all kinds of pathways that you could take, and so I recommend that um, students of these metaphysical subjects not be afraid to try them. You don't have anything to lose, but you have everything to gain.
Well, I have no time anymore. I want to have it now, and I want to know everything now, and want to remember my full self-realization. So, what? Because you just mentioned the Merkaba, why don't we go into that nice illustration for a moment? I would like to share this one with you. Actually, I don't know who designed it. It is something that I found on the internet. I think on some Facebook profile, not even a person that I know. I downloaded it because I felt so drawn to it. And as we can see, we have these concentric circles. We have the light on top of the tetrahedron, or what's it called? Then there's this angelic being, and obviously there's also an Earth-like sphere where in the bottom.
Well, there's
Would you
18.
like to explain that to
Sure,
us?
sure, I'd like to do that. There's 18 different phases to this Merkaba type of yoga. And in the 15th phase, or between the 15th and the 18th phase, you'll have a vision similar to this, where you have two tetrahedrons that are counter-rotating. Um, the female aspect will have um, a, a clockwise motion, and then the male aspect will have a counterclockwise motion, and they'll be spinning around each other, and in this vision. And so this is the key that you've passed the sentries, that are cherubim that are guarding the stargate, the portal that goes to the higher consciousness, to this monadic plane. In
On
this
this,
type, in the in this
yeah.
particular in this particular type of yoga.
So what we can see here on this particular illustration, of course, is an angelic being. Is it that every human being, now that I'm sitting here, you are sitting there in a human form, in a biological body, in a physical biological body, do we also have this energetic body, this Merkaba around us, or is it something that we have to consciously connect to? Or is it just existing in the higher realms? What?
Oh, it always exists, but it exists in the spiritual realms outside of time and space.
Yeah.
And so we have to consciously do something to raise our vibrations, um, our level of consciousness, to attain to a vision like that.
Yes. So, for example, visualizing, I know there are schools and also this Drunvalo Melchizedek, he was sharing, talking a lot about the MERKABA in his books many years ago. I think they even gave teachings, very complicated meditations and everything. So I could never go into that because it is it was too complicated for me. But it's like this Merkaba thing is coming back to me from all over and over again. So somehow I feel there must be something important. And also, this is the other illustration that I would like to mention. It's
And the, I
again the
would,
Merkaba.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. The Gospel of Thomas. Okay. Yeah. So what this is saying is that it's that in the higher realms, there's an integration of male and female aspects. So there's no longer any conflict. And that's why that in these higher realms that you could actually have you can have twin souls
Yes.
because there's neither male nor female. They're all in the unity in this in this state of unification, in the singularity, as they say.
Yes, but in the lower realms, as we have seen on this illustration, we have
Oh,
the polarities.
yeah, we
We
have
have
the
the male and the
polarity,
female aspects.
and because we're still in a learning phase, we're we're still not in the source uh, when we're in the material world on the material planes. That that we have a lot of static from our environment, a lot of interference, and so relationships are not they're not steady, and they don't uh, they lack a permanence, they lack a sophistication. They uh, there's so many obstacles um, to any kind of unification. So that's why, that's why this is a very important subject.
So everybody, every soul is in itself is what about the yin yang symbol? The yin yang symbol means there is a female aspect and a male aspect, and in the other side, there's always the other integrated
Oh,
as
oh
well.
yes,
Is
that's a very interesting symbol because in the uh, in the middle of each one there's a a small circle representing an aspect of the feminine in the male and the male in the feminine.
yeah.
So you have the white circle and the black circle.
Is that basically the symbol of every soul?
Yes, we're born
Both aspects.
with both aspects. Of course, uh, uh, one is predominant that we live with in our life, but we still have we still share in
Yeah.
the other aspect as
And
well.
even when, if one is predominant, it can still be in a female, even if the male aspect is predominant, it could still be in a female body, right? And the other way around, because everything is kind of distorted in our matrix, in our
Oh,
system, isn't it?
oh yeah, there's so many factors in the material world, environmental factors,
Yeah.
psychological factors, um, just uh, so many things can go wrong over here.
on the other hand, it's also the soul's choice to go through a certain experience. So there's not you cannot can you really say there's something wrong? I mean, if I'm, for example, born as a woman, but I'm living a more masculine life, it's
Well,
still
we
my
do,
soul's choice to go through
yes,
that
yes,
experience.
we do create the reality we live in, and to a great extent, we also choose when when and how we're going to come back. But this choice is not made for us. We make that choice based upon our experiences in the life that we just led.
We as souls.
We as souls, because and then through our oversoul, um, we make this decision consciously of what we need to learn, what
Would
we
it
need
be
to learn the next time around.
exactly? This is what my next question, because, for example, Omnek always said when she was asked, can you make changes to your decision? Because when you are in the physical now, for example, you don't really, usually, you don't remember what you have chosen as soul. This is why many people go through so many struggles. They feel they are victims. They feel, how could I have chosen that? This is impossible. All this suffering, all these nightmares, all these struggles and everything. But when you look at it from a soul's perspective, you have chosen it, yes?
Yes.
So the question is, would it be wise to completely surrender to your soul's choice while you are in the physical, instead of trying to escape and make different choices while you are in the physical? I mean, if you have reached a certain level of consciousness, maybe you don't even want to argue with God or with your soul anymore, and you just accept your life the way it is and the way it unfolds. That would probably be the wisest decision rather than trying to
Oh
make
yes.
changes, huh?
Well, this is why we have an oversoul, or some people would call a guardian angel, or a spirit guide. This is why we're not here alone. We do have help, and one of the ways that um, in the future I'll share this presentation that I'm going to be um, giving also at Sedona, Arizona, at the Global Center for Christ Consciousness. It'll be on the 12th of April,
Wow.
and it's how to uh, how to connect with uh, the presence of angels and to receive that kind of guidance.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you can know these signs, and one of them is synchronicities,
Mm-hmm.
being able to identify synchronicities. Because if you really want to know what you're supposed to be doing and where you're supposed to be going, your angel guides will send you signs along the way. And it comes in many different forms. And I'll talk about some of those in the future because it's too there's so many and it's very complicated. But if we follow these synchronicities, they're leading us to where we're supposed to go, where our oversoul wants us to go, and to places where we're going to learn these things. So it's very important. Look for synchronicities and be aware of them when they come. It could be, maybe it could be numbers, it could be almost anything. Um, Yesterday, I got an email from somebody from Riverside, California, and I just picked up a map book, and it it just fell open to the page for Greater Los Angeles area. My eyes fell right on Riverside, so I sent the person an email and said, "Hey, I'm going to be at Joshua Tree uh, April the 8th. And how about if I meet you over there? So, so, when you see a synchronicity or you experience a synchronicity, then follow up on it.
Oh, right. Well,
Another thing, like when we were all together there in Germany the last time, and then I was out on the patio, and then the cushion depressed all the way down in the lawn chair. And then we saw that the lightning cloud in an otherwise clear day. Then I brought in, then a white feather fell down, and I brought it in there. I gave it to Omnek, and from I studied up about white feathers, and they're a symbol that angels, that we're in the presence of angels.
mm,
And I found a scripture for it. I think it was it Psalm 91 verse 4 or something. It said that he covereth thee with his feathers that provide protection to you.
mm,
That you're being protected by the divine.
mm,
So that was an angel sign for
mm,
sure. I
mm,
think Omnek still has that white feather. It just fell down from the sky right on the porch.
mm.
And I ran into the to the living room there, and I said, "Oh, look at this, look at this." So that's an example of a synchronicity right there.
Can you ask for synchronicities or what do you have to? Because I remember I haven't consciously noticed a synchronicity in quite a while, meanwhile. Is it something that you can ask for, or how do you approach a synchronicity? Can you prepare yourself for becoming aware for something? Can you somehow open up
Well,
yourself?
yeah, that's the
How?
that's the thing there is you have to be aware that we live in a universe, an interactive universe, and that we can receive this kind of guidance and direction. And then,
Would you say that it is important to be present, to be in the physical present, to go into the physical? Is it something that is a requirement?
I would say that although you're in the physical, that your consciousness is more elevated because you're receptive to sensing these things. And there's various ways that you'll know. You could have what's called like a spiritual chill, where you just get like goosebumps all over and like feel electricity, or it's suddenly the temperature in the room drops, or you feel that it dropped. Maybe there's like a flash of light or a golden aura in the room. Then you know that something's going to happen. You're either going to get a sign, or you're in the presence of a divine being.
Mm. I believe many people know that these goosebumps and chills and some
Oh yeah, it
nature.
could it could be like you even hear something too.
Mhm. Isn't that it's a heightened awareness, right?
Heightened right, augmented. Your senses are augmented, and
Mhm.
that therefore you're in a receptive mode, that
Mhm.
when these synchronicities happen, you'll be aware.
Well, okay, I would say, Ray, I appreciate our conversation and I would love to share next time your presentation about the angels with with everybody. When you have it ready, well, then let me know and we and you share it here on my
Okay,
channel, I hope.
I'll be very delighted to do
Yeah, I'm
that.
looking forward to seeing it. So for today, I would say that we wrap that up and I thank you so much for your time and for this beautiful
Oh,
conversation again. So I think there's a lot to digest and to chew on.
you're welcome, Anya. And anytime people have any questions, if they send them to you,
Well, they can write them in the comments. It would be highly
yeah.
appreciated, and it's easier for us to see everything. Of course, people can also send me an email, but I also have so many emails, and somehow sometimes it's better. Everything is more organized when it's just in the comments, and then we can look
I
into
try
it.
I try to answer all emails that come to me,
Yeah. Well, then
but
also send emails. No problem.
and
Yes.
it's getting harder to do that because more and more people send
Yeah.
them. So I think I need a secretary.
Yes. Sure. Okay, Ray, stay with me for a moment. And for now, I would like to say thank you and everybody, see you next time. Bye bye.
Thank you, Anya.
Thank you. Bye.